Hello and good evening to everyone. It is with great pleasure that I, Muskan Rajat from IEEE SRMSB, would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you as we kickstart our first day of HackTrix organized by IEEE SRMSB. I hope you learn a lot today as we have lined up a very fruitful and an engaging session for you all today with a workshop where participants will build a taco store using common technologies such as HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. Now, without any further ado, I'd like to turn over the stage to Mr. Ahmed Mavia, our eminent speaker for today, who is a full stack developer with understanding of software development concepts. He's currently experimenting with blockchain technology and the decentralized web. He's the winner of VIT Hackathon held in 2020 and was the web dev leader at IEEE SRM SB. He's also an SDE intern at Fibona Labs and got selected as the mentor for Girl Script Summer Code 2021. Over to Mr. Ahmed Mavia.
Hello, I'm audible. Is it all clear? Can you guys hear me? Hello. Hello. Yeah, good. So, okay, so let's start. Let me just quickly share my screen and we'll just start. Hello. All right, great. Okay, so for the delay, let's start. So, the workshop has been organized by MLH Localhost. It's built a blockchain taco shop with Ark.io. Right. And Ark is actually open source blockchain ecosystem developed by Ark.io. It's a company and it is supposed to be the easiest way to develop a blockchain application. So let me introduce myself. Welcome. My name is Ahan Mavia and I'm here to lead today's session and help you learn something new today. I'm a student at SR University and my go-to programming language is JavaScript, more specifically Node.js. Everybody in on the YouTube, kindly just put your favorite programming language, the day-to-day tools you like to use, and introduce yourself to everybody. Great. So next thing on the menu is basically you guys can show us some love on Twitter and share this specific event using the hashtag HackTrix and MLH Localhost. Don't forget to tag us at IEEE SRMIST and MLHacks. A quick introduction about MLH. MLH is majorly hacking. We have 65,000 plus hackers, 12,000 plus projects created. We are spread across more than 400 cities with 3,000 plus schools. To know more about MLH, go to mlh.io. You'll get more information to learn the same. So, on to the main part of the session. What will we learn today? So, we learn about Ark. a structure of a DApp, which is short for decentralized application. How we can build a decentralized application using Ark, and then we'll actually make a network using Ark, and you'll be able to see how it will look. So a quick table of contents: Ark, environment setup, updation of code, and then we'll move on. Here's a snapshot of what we are going to build today. So as you can see, there's a menu, and this is the front end part of it. The backend will be completely blockchain based, and that we'll be mostly focusing on today. So this is made using common technology such as HTML, TypeScript, and CSS. And we'll be using plugins to integrate our Arc blockchain with this front. So plugins, how the Arc blockchain has been defined this way is that the whole thing is connected to the front end using plugins. And plugins are small code written in whatever language you prefer. And generally, it has Arc supports approximately 12 languages, and those including some very major languages such as Python and JavaScript, which we'll be using today. So how will you build? So first we will make an account with DigitalOcean. I put this on the Discord in our Discord server, telling you that you are required to make a DigitalOcean account, and this is required because we have to configure our DigitalOcean droplet. A DigitalOcean droplet is nothing but a virtual machine, and we'll be using it so that the environment is same for everybody who is attending this workshop. Next thing, we will configure our app, and then we'll run the Taco Shop. A little of a theoretical concepts that we will focus on. Considering this whole workshop is not an advanced workshop, this is an intermediate level workshop. We'll be focusing on very theoretical concept as well as the actual implementation of the same thing. So, what is a blockchain? A blockchain is a continuously growing list of records where every record is connected in sequential order, similar to links in a chain. If you are a computer science student, you must be aware with certain data structures that we use in day-to-day basis on day-to-day programs, such as linked list. So similar to linked list, blockchain also follows a similar structure, except we don't use addresses to connect each block. We use hash strings. Hash strings are cryptographic strings, which basically are description of what the data is inside a specific block. So this data and hash string is used for linking each block to each other. And when you're building a blockchain, the blockchain is actually distributed among several machines in a block in the whole system and in the whole network. So what is happening here is whenever we are actually adding new things to the blockchain, we're adding new data to the blockchain. It'll get replicated and copied among every single machine in the whole network. This way, making the whole system decentralized and much more stronger and robust. Why would I use a blockchain? So these are some of the benefits of using a blockchain. A blockchain record cannot be altered once they are distributed in a network. A single person can view and contribute to a network, providing unparalleled transparency of data. So an outside entity who is not a part of our application cannot actually alter the records once they have been added to the blockchain. And every single person who is part of or who is using our application can view and contribute to the network and provide basically unparalleled transparency of data. Right. This is a decentralized technology, and so no one person owns an entire network. This is what stops records being altered by any one entity. So when you're talking about a server-centric application or server-centric web, you have a server and a database all in a single place. And what does this do is that makes our information a little more open to threats. In case that data is being handled mishandled or has been leaked in some form, which is a very common thing that happens these days. A very good example is recent Facebook leak that was I think last year. It was big news, right? So to stop this kind of things, blockchain is the biggest technology which we can use, which is going to help us avoid these kind of issues. Blockchain development can be tricky, but it's easier with Arc. When you're developing any application using blockchains are written in several languages, including Golang or Solidity, which are not traditionally used by developers. And this is one of the major reasons why blockchain development becomes very difficult. Also, setting up of a blockchain network is very difficult. Even major corporations, the blockchain is still being researched because this its development is very tedious. In Arc, we have several things which make this whole process very easier, which I'll describe soon. So, what is Arc? Arc is an open source blockchain ecosystem available for developers to build their applications. It also provides you software such as blockchain, desktop, and mobile wallets. And what will happen? Arc is actually a cryptocurrency as well. So they also provided open source blockchain ecosystem, and also there's a cryptocurrency. So you can use your mobile wallets and desktop wallets along with your blockchain to connect with it and interact with it. Here are a few things that makes Arc really good. So first thing, it's open source, so there is no fees or limitations on it. It supports 12 plus languages, 12 plus major languages, including JavaScript, which you'll be using today. It is interoperable, modular, and the modularity part of it is because of the plugins that we use. So let's say you want to integrate your blockchain with a specific application. You just need to add a plugin to integrate it to connect with your blockchain. So these plugins make the whole process much simpler and modular. Scalable, blockchains are built outside the core network, allowing infinite scaling. This basically means it is not limited to a single machine or single set of a small network. Since blockchain can add as many machines as they want to the network, these are infinitely scalable. Unique. So we make blockchains and blockchain applications in such a way that everything, including plugins, transactions, are very customized, and you can fit them to your specific requirement. So why choose R? So this is the statement that we are going today. This is the question that we are going to put up today. That what will you do if you're a local taco business and you make the best tacos in the world, and everybody knows this? Your business is booming. So what will you do? So here we are giving an example that you are wise and invest in technology to improve and better your business. You will use Arc as an example. As a thinking of Arc, will make an application surrounding Arc, which makes the whole thing much simpler, faster, cheaper. And one of the biggest thing of blockchain is that making a blockchain and making an application over a blockchain is very cheap compared to something using some making an application using a server or a database, which can sometimes range in thousands of dollars. All right. So recreating the taco store, because blockchain is still a technology in its infancy, it's quite difficult to set up and develop it. To make this whole process easier, we're going to set up a dedicated development environment for distribution around it. This technique will allow everyone to have identical environments, meaning the workshop will work for every single person. All right, ready to get started. So first thing we are going to do is set up our Ark wallet. Then we'll get on the Ark core and application. Then we'll run our application, and then we'll move. So Ark offers a bunch of useful tools. Let's try the Ark mobile app. So Arc currency is being managed and maintained via the Ark wallet. It's available for both iOS and Android. Currently, with the newer Arc network, the integration with the Arc well is a little iffy and can cause problems. So to avoid that, we'll be using Arc Desktop, which is a much more stable, which is being updated again and again to connect with our Arc network. So let's quickly just open up Arc Wallet. First thing we're going to do is we're going to generate a profile and then a wallet inside it. So, so for the process of it, we'll first let's generate the whole. We'll go through the whole thing step by step. All right. So, great. So first thing, I already have profile on this, so I think you guys can generate it. I think it's pretty simple. Uh, you can directly go into add profile, add a name. I'll just call it a test profile for now, and we'll go next. This here, don't forget to choose Arc Devlet because that will be an example of the Arc uh, wallet that we'll be using, and then we can go on. You can choose the background themes and let's just get it done. So while we're here, let me quickly just put whatever links that are being that is required for this. If you head over to the Discord server, I've already added the link for under workshops. You can see I've added. So on the Discord, you can see there you can see Arc Desktop Wallet and Arc Mobile Wallet. Have already been, links have been given there. You can download your application there, right? So whenever you guys are ready, just tell me, and we'll continue with the wallet creation. Are there any questions still now? Are you facing any problems? Hopefully not. So let's continue. Let's continue. So now we'll create a wallet. So here you can also choose a wallet, but I'll just do it from. So let's just use a wallet. This is like a random wallet that it automatically generates, and this is the backup passphrase. Passphrases are used by blockchain wallets for authentication, and this is the very important thing which you need to make sure that you don't leak out and keep it to yourself. For now, I'll just keep it over in the notepad, and I'll assume that you guys can save it somewhere else. Great. So I copied it over to the notepad. Let me just quickly save this, and I'll just save it as something known as, let's say, passphrase.txt. Okay. Then we'll go on, and all right. So verify each passphrase word. So this is a verification method for the same thing. So it says third word, sixth word, and ninth word. So I'll just quickly copy them. And sixth word is oxygen, and last is this. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Wallet password. This is optional, but it's better to secure your wallet with the password. I'm going to skip this part and move on to the next. This is the address. This is the wallet address, and this will be used for referring to your specific wallet whenever sending or receiving money. Arc here. So we'll name it a test wallet, and we're done. So this was the whole process of setting up a DevNet wallet. Send whatever your send your addresses, hash addresses, this test wallet address, and I'll send over some doc. In case you guys want to go ahead and find them yourself and get them yourself. This is only applicable for DevNet because DevNet, the currency that is being used in DevNet is called Ark. It's been shown here. with used to sim. And if you want to get them, you can go over to their Discord channel and go over to Ark's Discord channel, and they have a specific system for you to get the dark directly from the faucet. So faucet is a way to get free darks and just to test out the system. So you can go over to the DevNet and ask for some darks, as well as you can go over to the faucet. Okay, check out this Discord server. I'll just post it on the YouTube comments. You guys can go over there and check it out. Be safe. All right, so let's continue. So once you are ready with this, we're going to generate a wallet. These are the instructions for the mobile wallet. It's very similar to your desktop wallet. Let's quickly generate our wallet, and once we're done with this thing, we can go over to the dev. So let's create a wallet. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a we're going to create a test wallet. So a test wallet means nothing but which is used for the testing of our application. So for that, let's just create a new profile quickly, and we'll just call it something like our app profile, and let's go yeah, choose a custom network. So this is what we'll be using when we'll be creating our application and testing it using our application. For now, I'll just leave it here, and I'll move on with the presentation. So a little information about Dark. Dark is the test version of cryptocurrency Ark, and you can use it on their live test network to transfer between wallets in the same way you can with the real cryptocurrency that is Ark. So this lets us write and test software using Ark network before you can make real transactions. When we are accessing our droplets, we'll be using something known as SSH which are similar to your password, but it allows for greater security. So let's just quickly do this. And for Windows users, don't forget to install Putty. For that, I've already given a link on the Discord server. You can check it out right here, MLH Localhost/Putty. For OS X and Linux users, terminal or bash will be fine. Alright, so we can generate our SSH keys using partition. So open up your partition. I already have mine here. So first thing you have to do is just click generate. Make sure it's RSA and it's 2048 here. Just click generate here, and it says please generate some randomness by moving the mouse over the blank area. So it has to get some amount of randomness using a mouse pointer. This is the public key, and this we'll just save the public key as well as the private key on the desktop. Just name it arc dash function. Okay, public. This will be our public key, and then we'll save a private key on the desktop as well. It asks if you want to save this key without a passphrase to protect it. Uh, Yes, I want to share. I will not use a passphrase. You can use the passphrase if you want. Alright. So if I go to my desktop, you can see two files are already here. This is the public key and this is the private key. So we are going to this part. Let's just keep this open for now because the public key we will use this public key used for additional on addition. So and these will the private key will be used for the authentication purpose. So let's quickly open up our DigitalOcean and go over the project setup. So in case you haven't used the DigitalOcean yet, you can go over DigitalOcean, create an account. They will ask you for a credit card info just for human verification. And after that, you can head over to GitHub Sprints Developer Pack and get your 100 free credits, $100 free credits. And once you have that, it will get added directly in it. So in case I go, I've been testing it out a little bit over time, and you can see that I have some amount of credits remaining. So this is the $100 from the GitHub Stream Pack. So this whole workshop will not cost you more than 30 or 40 cents max, and you can easily cancel any resources that you are using during this workshop to save these credits. So first thing you have to do is you have to create a new project. So head over to this thing and we'll create a project. Let's just name it something else. Build a taco shop. All right. And for the purpose, I'll just give class project educational purposes and we'll create this project. It will ask to use resources into a builder data shop. This will only be asked for people who have already been using DigitalOcean. For new user, this screen will not exist. So we'll just skip this for now. Great. So a project is created. Now we have to create a droplet. So it says right here, get started with a droplet. Give it a second to generate a droplet. Great. A few things here you have to make sure that first thing you have to select Ubuntu because all the commands that we are using here will be based on Ubuntu. And Ubuntu only 18.0 for lower because there are certain commands that only work on lower versions of Ubuntu. Next thing, you can select $10 per month, 0.0515 dollars per hour. This plan will be good enough. You can choose a data center anywhere you'd like. I'll go with New York. And this is the SSH key part where we'll be using it. So in my case, you can see some SSHs already have been added, but in your case, there shouldn't be any. And you have to select SSH keys, and then we'll add the new SSH keys that we have created. So first the content. So this is the content that we require. This is the public key, and we'll copy it. Just check once. Great. So copy this over. We'll paste it, and then we'll name it as Taco SSH. Great. So in case you are a terminal user, in that case, there are certain commands that I'll go over once. But I think it's very straightforward, and you can directly copy these keys from your terminal, and then we'll add the such keys. Great. So it has been already selected here, and we'll go down and choose a host name. Let's just choose something very simple like bridge chain, or even something more specific, taco bridge chain, and we'll just create droplet. Great. So it's being created right now, and you can see it's being created. So while this thing goes on, let's go over and set up our putty. So for putty, basically it is used to connect to a remote desktop, and it will use SSH keys from your own desktop, from your own private key that you've used, created right now, and connect to the remote desktop. In case of terminal users, you guys can Great. I think you guys already have resources for this specific workshop. And the commands are all visible, and you can check it out on the same. Check out these commands there, and these are the SSH keys Unix commands, and this will generate your public key. This will copy your public key and save it as well. So if you head over to the Discord, there is a specific drive folder that has been given, and you can use that to for the resources. All right. So now the keys are done. We have to connect to it. Uh, so DigitalOcean, a little bit about DigitalOcean. So DigitalOcean allows you to make quick, cheap virtual development environments called Droplet, and Droplets are fully configurable remote machines. And this is the URL that has been given, and we already went through this process. Next thing we have to do is connect to our virtual machine. Let's see if it's already ready. Yeah, it's ready. So this is the IP address of our droplet, and we'll connect to that IP address. So make sure you copy this and copy it in our tail. All right, and we'll name the session as something as taco uh, droplet. Now let's go over to SSH where we'll be adding the SSH keys. So we'll browse first, and we'll go over to our desktop, and this is the private key that we saved. We'll open it and exit. Let's quickly go over to session and save this once in case you want to access this again. And we'll click open. All right. So it's basically saying it's not cached in the registry. It doesn't know if that specific computer is what you think it is. We'll just go over. It will ask login as. So by default, the user is root, and we'll log in as root. It will authenticate, and voila, we are already in the system. And you can see here, maybe I'll increase the size. Hopefully, this make the whole thing a little bit more clear. Right. So we're already in it, and you can see right here it says root at the taco bitching, which, if you might recall, is the name of our droplet. So we are already in the system. You can go ahead and close this now. We'll not be requiring particular anymore. So we are already in it. For a quick check to know who is the user that we are at right now, we'll just do who am I, and this is the command it will show as root. So I'm currently logged in as root. All right, great. So now we are going to create another user known as bridge, which we'll be using for the environment setup and launching our props. All right, so these are the software requirements for the Ark blockchain. So you will be installing Node.js, YARN, Lono, and Build Essentials. These are all the things which will be installed using setup script. So we don't have to manually go and install these. So for now, we'll just create a user known as Bridge. Just do a add user Bridge chain, and it has been added. We have to add a password. So for now, I'll just use password. With the password, I'll just go. Yes, it's correct. All right. So we are inside. We have created a user bridge. Now we have to actually go over and switch over to bridge and run our blockchain. For that, we'll be using something known as a deployer. A deployer is a tool given by Ark, which allows us for easy setup of the blockchain on our this system, and that will actually streamline the process that might take a longer time by doing it manually. So a quick switch user, so we'll just quickly switch user to bridge chain, and you can see now it says bridge chain at the rate taku dash bridge chain. So we are now in bridge chain. We'll again quickly switch over to root, and it will ask for password, and let's quickly go. Yeah, just try sudo. Wait, oh no. All right. So we'll first give sudo access to bridge chain. So since bridge chain is not actually sudo, we have to make it a sudo. So we'll just do a quickly user mod ag bridge chain. This will basically sudo bridge chain. So this will give us sudo access. So it's already denied because we are not outside of outside of root. So let's just quickly go on to root, and then again we'll run the same thing. User mod ag sudo bridge, and we have provided bridge chain with the sudo access. Now we'll do a switch user to bridge chain, and we are inside bridge chain. Great, and we can switch over to root now. Asking a password. We'll just do a quick sudo password actually. Yeah, we'll just do a sudo switch user to, and it will ask for password for bridge chain. And right, we are back. Great. So we can now switch between both of these users, and now we'll move over to the launching our application. Great. So we did the and yeah, one quick who am I would be useful, right? And it will show us the name of the user. Is Richie. Now we have to go over to the home directory of Richie, which we can do simply by doing cd and a quick build, and you can see. Yeah. So this basically signifies your home directory. So everything that we're going to do and every script that we're going to run is going to be from the home directory of Bridge. Now we'll head over to the Ark deployer. For that, the link is mlh.ark.io, and you can go over there, and here's the deployer. So this will go through this whole process. It's very straightforward and simple, and it allow us to do the same thing that we're doing in much faster and much simpler way. So I'll enter my Gmail email address. You guys can go ahead and do yours. I'll just do a good chain. This will be the name of our chain. Ticker. Let's just keep something very simple and straightforward. Uh, and for the name and for the symbol, we'll just keep it as a dollar. So what is a symbol? Simple, similar to what your Arc and Dark uses. The symbol is used for knowing and showing the cryptocurrency. Great. So let's quickly go over the whole setup, and you can see, maybe you cannot see as it's very small. But anyways, we are going to name some. We are going to give a name to everything. We are going to give the prefixes as very simple, and then we're going to go over to our droplet. This name is Ark, and let's also name this Ark. Let's name it as A W D. That's not as A, and then all right. So git remote origin for code. If you head over to the GitHub and check out the Ark repository, Ark code, and so you know there are two main repositories of Ark, and this is for the Ark system. There are two major repositories. First is the Ark code, which will have the core functionality of the Ark, and then next is the Ark Explorer. And this Ark Explorer is for the connecting it to the plugins stuff. So these are the two repositories. We have to fork these repositories and into our own GitHub, and then we can actually use it and give it right here in our Git remote origin. We're forking it so as to avoid any kind of change that might be made after we are setting up our deployer. So if I quickly head over to my own GitHub repo, which I've forked, both. In case you guys don't know where to fork, you can just use this simple fork button and select whichever amount you want to fork it, and it will copy the whole repository into this. Great. So now we have the URL that is required right here. So we'll copy this. This is the core URL. So we'll enter in our core URL that already been written once, and similarly for the original URL. Great. Then we'll continue, and we'll have to add server node and peer nodes. So server node refers to the first node of your whole network, and for the IP address, we're going to copy this, and we'll save it. Go to next, and similarly, um, same thing here. Since your first server is also a peer, both of them can be same, and then we click deploy. So here you'll get deploy install script, which we'll be using, and this is JSON config. So in case you want to do the manual configuration, which is a lot more work, which has a lot more code involved with it, you can use this JSON configuration, else you can directly copy this from the deploy script. You can go and we'll copy the whole deploy script. So now we are going to copy this deploy script in our bridge chain. So we are going to use the nano editor, and we'll just know we'll write it as setup.sh. Sh stands for the shell script, and shell scripting is what is required and written in this. So for copying, you'll just do a right click and it will copy into the terminal. And once you're done, you can do a X. So it will ask if saving, you save modified buffer, and we'll do this, and we'll just do a setup.sh. Great. So in case you want to check what is written in it, we'll just do a cat command, and you can see the whole thing that we just copied into a setup.sh. We'll do a quick clear and let's continue. So once this is done, uh, we can go ahead and close this one. Great. So once this has been done, we have to run the shell script. So a quick bash command will do it, and it will do a lot of this. This process will take a little bit of time. So while this is going on, you guys can put some questions that you might have in comments. Great to see such support going on. Into. All right, so a lot of things are being installed right now. So let's take a look what we are installing right now. So the things that we are, so this is the repo link that we just saw. Right, so we went through this whole process and we copied the whole script and then we ran it using bash. Right, right. So what is being installed? First, Node.js is being installed, which is JavaScript runtime environment and one of the technologies used to build the Ark Wallet. It is an essential tool to run a node application and also being used for in our Ark blockchain. Learn as a node package, meaning that you are able to download and install it using npm, and it is used for managing JavaScript projects where large code bases are split into smaller packages. Build essential is also used, and it is used for generally for building applications, and it contains many of the famous things such as GCC compiler and make utility. In case you guys are aware of CMake and those tools. Yarn is a caching tool. It's similar. It's a package manager, but it caches the whole package into your system. So once it has been downloaded once, it can be reused again and again. And CMP test is also being downloaded, which is a testing utility for Unix CLI tools. And we won't directly use it, but certain applications might use. So this whole process will take a little bit time, and in the whole process, it might ask you for your username and password for GitHub, and that is because it has to copy your code next to your repositories that we have just put in our deployer script. Let's see. If you're seeing there's some certain commands such as like create role or alter role. These are Postgres commands, and the Ark blockchain uses Postgres behind the scenes for local temporary storage, and that has already been installed. Right, so it is cloning into right. So now it's using asking for my username. So I'm going to enter my username. You enter yours. It's asking for my password. I'll enter my password. So it's now fetching the pathways, and this is for the core. Similar thing will happen for the Explorer as well. In case when you do this, you might receive a mail saying as a deprecation notice because the password way of authentication using GitHub has been deprecated and now it uses something similar to your OAuth or web-based authentication. Right, give it a second, it will install all the things. Once the whole script runs, you will see these three addresses and pass traces for your mainnet genesis details, devnet genesis details, and testnet genesis details. So these are all, as you can understand, mainnet refers to the main Arc network, and devnet for the test Arc network, and testnet is for your local and for your testing your applications. And all three of them will be generated, and this basically adds a node to the Arc network. And when you're seeing Genesis refers to the first block in the blockchain. So when you see something like Genesis details, it generally means it's the first block that has been generated, which you might require, or which is required for this for starting a blockchain. So every other block that gets added is added to the previous block. So Genesis block does not get added to anything. Genesis block is just standalone, and it is you connect other blocks to the Genesis block. Make sure to copy these into somewhere safe. I'll copy it into a notepad as well. You also get certain API addresses. So these API addresses are for your specific network things, which such as like core P2P API. So P2P API refers to peer-to-peer API, and what is happening here is every peer is connected to each other, and it is using this specific URL, specific port number to connect to other peers on the same network. Then we have public API through which you can access the blockchain, and the Explorer, which is for seeing the data. All right. So once this whole script gets run, we'll be done with the deployer, and we can move on to the changing the code, and then we can actually deploy it. In case you guys are having any doubts or questions, kindly put them in the chat, and I will answer those questions. So while they're going on, let's just set up our custom network. So we left our desktop wallet right here, and says you can choose a custom network. So first we have to add a custom network. So any name would be fine. I'll just go with something simple as Taco Network. Great, and I'll add the server seed. So server seed is basically your RPI followed your IP followed by the port number. So your the port number that we'll be using will be the this public API network, public API port. So it should be 4023 as you can see right here. So let's head over to DigitalOcean. We'll copy this and we'll put this here, followed by and does not have to do. So we'll just quickly put great. So once you have added your network to it, then we will continue fetch. So right now it will I think maybe not fetch because the deploy is still running. But once you click fetch, it will connect to that network and will have a wallet which is connected to your own blockchain. Great. So just as I said, you can see that mainnet and these details are already being here shown here. So once this whole thing goes on, at the very end of the script, there's a command for rebooting the whole system. So once the reboot command is running, with the system will close down and it will reboot once with the blockchain. So we have to copy these details before this whole thing closes down. Let's try to copy these details. These are details we have right now. I'm just copying and leaving it down. So just name it as pass releases test. Let's see. So then I stay from my GitHub username and password to fetch the repositories. So while we're doing this, let's just go over to the GitHub and check out the MLH repository, the plugins that MLH has provided us with. So if you head over to the this URL https://github.com/mlh/localhost, you will see that it's a GitHub repo that has two folders. One is Ark Shop API, and other is Ark Shop. So one is for the backend part, which is listed here as API, and one is the taco shop. In case you're following the participant slides, don't forget that when you're looking over this, you can see that only two branches are used. First is update plugins to 2.5, another is master. And here we are actually cloning the version 0.0.1 branch. It does not exist anymore. So this will not work correctly. We'll directly clone the whole repo or master branch of the repo into a bridge. Great. So let's just go ahead and take a look at this repo. So if you go to the Taco Shop API, you can see there are configs, but when you head over to SRC, everything is written is TypeScript, and it's very common language. It's used very commonly among people, and so you can see that the plugins that we are using, these are the plugins. This is the API plugin, and the other plugin that we will use is the Taco Shop plugin, which is the front. So these plugins, as you can see, are written in some very simple language such as JavaScript, right, and TypeScript, which are very common. So you can see how this would actually make the whole process much simpler. Using Arc, it makes the whole process much faster, except for the deployer apparently. So once we are already inside there, we have to copy the plugins from the original repo into our own uh, system and in our own config files folders. And then we have to make certain changes to the plugin files, such as giving the server IP and port. And then we'll be adding the port for the front end as well. And we'll also add similar password in the sequence. You'll see these things once I get done with the required part. And when you're talking about recipient, we'll be using these details that we copied over from there from our console from the term. So these are the passwords and addresses that we'll be using. We'll be using testnet details because that will be the one that is being used here. To get another wallet, because we'll require a sender as well for this. To get another wallet address, we'll copy the passphrase from the delegates file, which already have stored some amount of passphrases from different wallet, and we'll copy that passphrase and import a wallet in our desktop wallet. Then we'll start the whole thing and check out the logs and see if the whole thing is working fine. Once that is done, we'll be up and ready with the whole shop. While we're waiting here, you guys can actually go and check out the Discord server of Ark and request some uh, docs from that and send your address. I'll wait for this and hopefully, yep, hopefully we are ready. I hope it's done. Sketch completed. One second. So it's done. So in case you want to know about the faucet, I'll quickly show you how it works. So this is the community bots channel under Ark Discord channel, and you guys similar to what they're doing here. We'll just type faucet, and we'll give a definite address that I already have. So I already have a specific definite address. I'll copy it here and then I can show you how to do it. So the definite that I'm referring to. So let's say I want to get some 100 dark in this dark wallet. So we'll copy this address and we'll go over to the Discord and we'll just simply type faucets and we'll paste the address. So in case it says right here, so it says 100 documents on its way to this specific address. And if we see this, we'll just refresh it and once it is, and hopefully we'll get yeah, you can see we got 100 dots. So here it says faucet enjoy your 100 dots. So we got the 100 dots from here. And obviously there is not endless supply of dots. You also just like a cryptocurrency which is being generated. So you cannot ask for the doc again and again. So you can ask it once in 14 days. So it refreshes after 14 days, and you can request the docs again. So now the whole script has already completed, and it's a remote side, and it's ready to close network connection. This basically means that the remote desktop is in reboot right now. So we'll copy the whole thing, and let's just quickly just do this. Right? All right. So this is the whole thing, and we'll keep it down because we'll be reading it again. So once this has been completed, we'll close this 40 once and we'll open it again. And don't forget that we saved the session. And we'll click on that session and we'll just click open. And we'll enter as root. We'll authenticate as switch keys. Let me just quickly include this size again. Great. So uh, I'll switch into bridging. Great. So we are in bridging now. I'll switch to home directory and we're in a home directory. Great. So now we are in a home directory and we'll continue with the deployment part. So first thing we have to do is copy the. Let's just see the folder structure that is being followed here. So if you do ls, you'll see all the folders that folder and files that are inside this specific home directory. You can see it has Ark deployer and core chain, core explorer, and these files are already in there. Setup.sh is the file that we ran for the installation, and we have to copy all the things in our uh, .config folder, which will have all the plugins. So So first, as you can see, we'll first change directly into our core of the chain into plugins, and then we will copy the whole repo. So we'll do core the chain slash plugins, great, and then we'll quickly do git clone, and don't forget to copy the Github repo. We'll paste it right here. Do the same. We'll copy those folders, and then we'll move. Right. So it's already there. If you do a quick ls, you'll know that it has already been moved into this. So once you're done with this part, we have to move this into our plugins folder, which is simple as mv command. So you can use something mv dot slash slash Uh, One second. I will just cd into an Ark Taco Shop and Ark Taco Shop API. Ark Taco Shop. Oh, sorry. Alright. Let me just add local. Yeah. And similarly, we'll do API and so if I do a quick ls, you'll see both of them are here. So we'll quickly remove the unnecessary GitHub repository. So now it's not great. So plugins have been copied. We just have to make our changes, and we can continue this. The first thing we have to do is restart our blockchain. So we'll first install whatever is required by the plugins, and then we'll quickly restart our blockchain. So Yarn has already been installed, as you're aware. So we'll quickly change into core chain, and we are already in core chain. We'll just do a Yarn server. So it's caching, it's getting all the packages from the cache, and once we are there, we can make our changes and restart. Also, let's just do the testnet thing that we're doing. Custom network, name it Taco network. For the seed, we have HTTP slash slash, and I think you can actually copy it directly from this. Like, so this is the same thing as the public API. Maybe be a something description. So now it will actually copy everything on the deployer that you saw. The symbol is there, the token is there, the epoch is there, everything is there. So we'll just do a quick save and it will validate server speed. Great. So now we'll select this, we'll click next, we'll be done with this. And now we have to import a file. So as you saw, we already had test network and passphrase and address over here. So we'll copy this address and we will try to import the Genesis wallet from this. So we'll select on use the address only. We'll place the address. Click next. We'll just name it something like a test wallet, and we'll done. So it has 0.00. So this should actually have more numbers. While we're waiting for this to finish, let's see what else there is. So here is an example of what your test wallet will actually look like. It should have some amount of test currency in it. and we already cloned the thing. We already have done the yarn setup. Right, so everything's done. We just have to make the changes, and we have to restart everything. In case you guys are facing any issues, kindly put it in the chat, and I'll try to address it. Great, so everything's done. We have uh, completed the setup. So now we can move over to the uh, these plugin files. So these are very important because plugins are the setup, the configuration of plugins is very important that we change it to suit our needs. As it wouldn't work correctly. So we have to change this plugin.js which is inside our config. So for that, we'll just go over to the home directory first, and then we'll go into our dot config slash yeah, dot config slash ark slash testnet, and we will do a quick nano plugins purchase. Right, so we have opened this in a nano editor, and these are already the plugins that are already in our system. We just need to add our own plugin and continue. So for that, uh, if you take a look at the plugin file, we have added two of these. So first, we're going to configure our shop plugin, shop API plugin, and then we'll go to the front end part. So I'll just give it a quick indent and do it right. So add the root MLH slash Ark taco shop API, and wait, we'll do an enable as true, and we'll put our we'll do a quick server configuration here. We'll just do enabled again as true, and host as 0.0.0.0, which basically refers to anywhere. And we'll set our port as same as the as 5000 for the backend. Right. So now this is done. Add some trailing comments. Okay. So this is done. We'll quickly save this. And wait. So if you do a cat plugin trace, you should see at the very end these things. Great. So these have been copied now and written there. Made the required changes, and now we have to add our Taco Shop API, the front end. So we'll again do a nano plugins for JS. Let's go to the very bottom again. Uh, probably certain. Yeah. So just do MLH slash arc slash taco slash shop. So this will be the front end one. We'll add a trailing form as well. And again, we have to enable it. So we'll just do enable of true. And after this, we'll make server configurations. And for the server configuration, this will have our port as 3000. So first we have enabled it. So enable true. Then we have to set our host as again 0.0.0.0 and port as 3000. And after this, this is just for the shop. And now we have to add the uh, backend API to it. So we'll just do something known as we'll just add something as simple as inventory API. So inventory API, and we'll do a sender, and this will be our this is where sender address and the receiver address will come in. Passphrase, and we'll do a quick recipient, right? So and then at the very end we'll add URI. So this should have your HTTP URI. So it should be 0.0.0.0. Then we'll add the port, that's 5000, and then we'll give the URI API. Right. So sender, passphrase, and recipient. So next thing you have to know is the details that we copied earlier, that we have copied in Notepad. So recipient should be the Genesis block. So this is the Genesis block address. I will copy this and right click to save, copy this and paste it. Then the passphrase. First, we're going to save this once and do a quick cat, and you can see all the details from this. Good. So for the passphrase, as I was saying, that there is a file in a config in the same folder that contains passphrases for certain wallets. So for that, we'll just do a quick cat delegates.json. So you can see a bunch of passphrases. We'll copy the top one from here. Fill that copy. Okay, so this is the passphrase, and what we'll be doing is going in our Ark desktop wallet, and we'll import this wallet. We'll import this wallet using password. So here's the wallet. We're going to not even give a password. Uh, Second, we'll call it second wallet. By default, it'll add something else. Right. So two wallets have been added. We just do a quick refresh for this one. So two wallets have been added, and for this wallet, we'll need the address and the password, right? So we already have the address from here. That is why we need to import this first, because we have to get the address. You cannot directly get the address from the passwords. So now we are going to open our plugins.js again, once again, and so let's do a nano plugins for JS. We go to the very bottom, and we'll go to sender. make sure to copy this address and paste it here. For the passphrase, uh, I think we can copy it from here. You guys will have it in your machine, so you can again go ahead and do it, check it out. Once Great. I'll save it once. So now it's saved. So once they save, we'll just do a PM to restart all, and it will restart the application. So great. So now everything's on, right? We'll just do a quick PM2 logs to see if everything is running fine. And, and you can see something right here. Starting API type shop, starting Ark Taco shop API DB. So you can see with this taco emoji that all the APIs and everything are fine. So now you're pretty much done. You have your own, you have the blockchain running, you have the backend running, and now we'll just go check out our front end and how it's looking. So head over to your browser and don't forget to copy this IP address, because this is the IP address that is being used for displaying our. If we go over to the API address that we used earlier, slash API slash taco slash products, you will get all the products which are being uh, stored in our blockchain. So right now it's showing the result as empty and total count is zero because nothing has been stored yet. So we have to store some things in our taco shop, right? So for that, we'll actually go to the front end, and we'll go over to the uh, part where we will be able to upload our taco shop. So I'll just duplicate this, and we'll just make the changes in the URL. So it's 5,000 slash inventory. So you go over this, and you can see it's showing a certain template, code name, description, image URL, price, quantity. So this is the we have to make a CSV and upload a CSV to this, and it has to be in this format. So in case you are not aware, CSV refers to comma separated values, and it is being used. It is being stored in the Postgres database as a temporary way to copy the all the data from the CSV into our blockchain. So if you want to make your own CSV, you can go ahead and make it. Uh, a specific URL have been provided, a specific CSV have been provided by MLH to us, which we'll be using today. So this is the drive file. I quickly download this, right, and I quickly move it to our desktop. Right. So this is the CSV file, and we have to upload it here in our browser. For this URL also has been given in the presentation. If you look at slide 121, you'll be able to find it. So let's go over to desktop, and we'll upload our CSV file. Then we'll press submit, and product successfully added. So this is being shown here. So obviously, the product has been added in our system, and now we are going to see where the products are being added. So in case you want to check out without a front and how the products, whatever products have been added, just quickly refresh this API endpoint and see a bunch of those mentioned here. So there are three results with the quantity and price and ID and an image URL as well. And you can see at the very end, total count is three. So it's obvious that in these once we have uploaded the CSV, all the products have been copied over to our blockchain. Now we'll go over and see the actual front end, the application part of it, which I've been created using HTML, how it's looking. So the URL for the front end is on port 3000, and here you go. So the ones we uploaded there had these URL there. So if you click on buy, it will actually buy a specific taco from this, and you'll this thing will get reduced, as you can see. So thank you for the purchase, and you get the transaction number, and you can see that it gets reduced. So this is the whole thing. This is how it is all. It is completely executed, and I think that's pretty much it for the application part of it. So we let's just go over quickly whatever we saw and whatever we did in this last 1.5 hour. So we went over. We first learned about the theoretical concepts of blockchain. Then we set up our own network of Ark blockchain. We set up our own node, a server. Then we copied over some plugins that have been provided to us by MLH into our own droplet, and then we installed whatever packages were required, and then we uh, made whatever configuration changes, and we restarted our blockchain. So this is the whole process of creating the blockchain. You'll get the resources along with which are required for this in your mail if you have registered using MLH link. And so here are some more theoretical concepts that you might want to take a look at. Since we're running a bit late and we're running out of time, I'll leave this up to you to read it out, and we can see what it all says. In case you guys are not aware and you feeling like this is a little complicated, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I think it will be. You guys can also reach out to me on Discord as well on the server. So that's pretty much it, and hopefully you all had a great time. And I'll see you guys tomorrow when we're doing the other reviews, and let's hope this helped you guys in some way. Great to be part of this workshop. Muskan, maybe you can take over from here.
It was a great pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. A hearty thanks to all the participants as well for joining us today and for your active participation. We'll see you tomorrow for our second workshop at 12 p.m. IST. I would now like to bring this workshop to its conclusion with this quote. Limitations live only in our minds, but if we use our imaginations, our possibilities become limitless. Thank you everyone and have a great day ahead.